Hi guys, welcome to my 61st YouTube video of my channel. My name is Shekina. Welcome back if you're not new. How old am I? I am 25, halfway to 50. Actually 25. The adulting I've done this year is somehow crazy. I remember at the beginning of the year, I was with my little nephew and he was doing his homework. I was like, "You're in middle class, right?" He's like, "No, I'm in grade one." I'm like, it hit me so deep in my heart because I was like, age is finally catching up with me. So it was crazy. But I like to sing, I like to dance, and I like to love and have joy and spread joy and laughter and good feels everywhere. I come from a big family and I'm a counselor by profession. Come on now, yeah. So I also have a knack for writing, so you can send your documents my way, and trust me, we're going to put what you're trying to say in the best of words possible. I think being a better person should be everyone's goal in life because that's where we are, and that's what we should be doing, striving to be better every day. We can't say that of a lot of people today, but I think it's always a great reminder. Blue is my favorite color. It has been for the most time of my life. I would say that lilac is fighting for that spot though, because I don't know about you, but just the material of it and just the looks of it, even when you go into a room that's got lilac painted walls, just screams clean. It's amazing. So yeah, there's that. What has changed since my first YouTube video? My first YouTube video, in fact, my first YouTube channel was called Brave Uncensored. I like to think of myself as somebody who's quite brave. Although too much for being brave, I I chickened out. So the first YouTube video was called Brave Uncensored, but I chickened out. It was 2019. But 2020, you remember Corona and the world was ending. So who was I not to make a YouTube channel? And so I managed and we called it Choose Joy. The first video was a poetry video. I think that's my most viewed poetry video or most heard poetry piece because I posted it on my social platforms and just had a lot of people listening and hearing, and the visuals of the video were just amazing. It was done by a guy called Jonathan. He was known by Joxy Beats that time, so he made some really beautiful visuals to go with it. It was epic. So that was a video. The topic goals were poetry, beauty, and purpose. I managed to kind of get through with it and all that stuff, but I couldn't keep it up. But I could say that what has changed is right now I'm careful for nothing. Those days I was careful for everything. I used to be too much of an overcarer in so many ways. And of course, caring is beautiful, but it should have a limit to some extent because I cannot be anybody's God or anybody's Holy Spirit, and I'm not assistant God in any way. I can never be. I'm supposed to be a living example of who He is because He's given us the perfect example, Jesus Christ. But it's that I am surrendering to Him, and for me, being an overcarer at that time was quite imprisonating. For instance, I like to dance, I like to sing, I like to be witty, and I can be sometimes sarcastic, but I'm also very much a loner. Not even in a bad sense. I like my company. God has made it that way, but I also understand the power of community. Like, I like being on my own, I like my space, I enjoy my time with myself, but I also love community, and I love to play with children, and I like to have fun times with children. There's just different aspects of my life. I like to cook, I like to discover new things, I like to write and speak and all those things, but I couldn't do that. I couldn't share my light freely because of my being too careful for everything. But now I think that I'm in the right headspace and I'm in the right space to do that and to be me in the best way possible, that I could share some aspects of my life with the world and spread my light, because you know what the Bible says about a city on a hill. A city that is set on a hill cannot cannot be hidden. That's you, and that's for you as a child of God as well. So yeah, so I think that's what has changed since then. I don't want to make too many promises for the future of this channel, because I am trying to not have too much control over things and situations and circumstances, and so fingers crossed to letting things flow. But I could notify you that I am writing a book. It's going to be out by December. Prepare to be bamboozled, of course. My podcast is in the works. It's going to be called Grey. In fact, it's called Grey. So, and then a website and a blog. The website is called Alora, but the blog, in the website, you're going to be able to locate it there. It will be called Alora by Shekana. So yeah, prepare for that. Follow through with that and everything. We're coming in hot, and we're going to be doing the best of what we know how to do and doing it to the best of our abilities. What else can I say? Oh, I have to say that, you guys, as we come to the end of the channel, I have to say that, Zambian music, I used to listen to it for quite a long time. And I used to have different aspects of it that I heard and listened to, like especially the really old school Zambian music, like Vendela, Fandusi, or something like that, or that I think Hamoa song. Yeah, such music, it was really great in the old days, and coming through some years when I was younger, but there was a time when I couldn't relate to Zambian music and I just kind of shied away. But I should say, like, I'm grateful for the standard. The words of a song really matter to me. I believe in the importance of words, so you have to use words wisely. So I appreciate people who write music well and who sing lyrics with content. So I have to say, Zambian music is coming to the tops. Some of the music that I've listened to so far is like Uncle Yo Maps is really doing the most. I'm really happy by his music and by his standards. Uncle Pompey and Auntie Esther. This new album? Yes, please. Guys, the other day I was listening to Pendela, like for the first time. I have to say, it literally brought my vocal cords back to life. I told you I like to sing, right? So I have gone through these stages where sometimes I felt like I could sing and sometimes I felt like I couldn't. But I just came to understand that it's actually just practice and really just having interest in what you want to do. And I started practicing more, and that song brought my vocal cords back to life. And then the song that she did with Apostle GUC, Finish, because it was just, I was like, the vocals on those lyrics though, guys, it was pristine, so I am really happy about the music. And I have made it a point that with every YouTube video I will be ending with a Bible verse, and today's Bible verse is Proverbs 3 verse 5 to 6, and it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. I think as you go to 7 and 8, it says, in all your ways acknowledge him and he will make your path straight. Now, it's easier said than done, for sure. I won't even lie to you about it. And all I could say is give it to God. Whatever you're facing, whatever trouble or situation you're facing, give it to God. You're his child, he's your father, he knows better. You're not wiser than him, you're not smarter than him, But the thing is he's called us to his aid, like he's the ever-present help. We cannot do without him. And in those moments and situations, circumstances of life, when it feels so overwhelming, it's too much, you don't know what to do, and you've done everything humanly possible to do, even before that happened, he tells us to give it to him, like let him handle it. Don't depend on your education, on your levels of practice or levels of IQ and all that stuff. They all are found failing at some stage and point in life when you're dealing with life, because he's the one who's sovereignly in control. He's the one who's sovereignly wise. He has everything figured out better than any of us could ever figure it out. So trust in the Lord and lean not on your own understanding. Now, life will bring us those moments in life where it's just hard and it seems crazy, but just keep trusting him. And the part where it says that in all your ways, if we acknowledge him who make our path straight, somebody taught and said it in a sense that, does that mean that he only gets to make our path straight if we acknowledge him? You know, in life, how we do things, like do crazy things, we do things, and it's hard, it's hard. You've been trying for 5 years, and then you remember, oh, and you take it to God, and God just does one, two, three, and it's like it's done in 5 minutes. And you're like, you know, those moments where you're like, okay, really, God, really? Like, okay, now you're just showing off. Now you're just showing off. That's what God is able to do with such situations, circumstances of our lives. And don't get me wrong, sometimes God says yes, sometimes God says no, sometimes God says wait. But it is in those circumstances and those situations where we're truly humanly unable and we keep on worrying about situations. If you took accounts and you remember, I did principles of accounts in high school, and so I remember when we were given those sheets to balance, and you had to put in the information and make sure it balances. Like that was the ultimate goal, to make it balance. But there are times when the teacher or the tutor would give you a question or give you inputs that where the balance sheet was not supposed to balance. It was supposed to be an unbalanced balance sheet. And you've been trying to make it balance, you've been trying to make it balance until it's like, no, but you're not supposed to balance it. If you're doing all the things correctly, it's not supposed to be balanced. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to put in with your own knowledge and wisdom, what you're not supposed to be doing? So sometimes that's most of us as human beings, like we're trying to make it fit and make it balanced. But God says, no, it's not supposed to fit and it's not supposed to be here. And that's us most of the time. That's why we have to just really just give it to Him and not lean on our own understanding. Maybe I should end by sharing a story where I remember, I think my brother-in-law took us to like game zone, and I went with my sisters, my brothers, and my little nieces and nephews, and all that stuff. So the game zone at East Park. So I know there's a section. If you know it, there's a section where there are like there's balls and places for kids to jump and play in and play out. But there's a net around if you're on the other side. So I remember we were trying to put these guys their socks on, and so my little niece, she starts crying because she's so excited. She wants to enter into the play area. So she's crying to go in, and her mom keeps telling her like, look, let me take you to the door where you're supposed to go through. But she just wants to enter because all she's seeing is the great things that are happening in there. But there's no way for her to enter there because it's closed and there's a net. And she's crying and crying, and the mom is like, let me take you. My oldest is like, let me take you to where you can enter so that you can have all the fun you want. But she's still crying and she's messed up. And herself says, this is us, God. Sometimes God is telling us, let me take you, let me lead you. But you're like, no, man, I just want to go in, just want to go in. But it's like, look, through this way, there's no way. Let me lead you, let me take you on. So that's most of us sometimes. And I'm just encouraging you to trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding, and in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will surely make your path straight. Every new video will be uploaded every Sunday. Guys, please stay, and please stay. The only way you can stay is and make this place home is like, subscribe, and share the link with the people that you know or believe could feel my vibe. Okay, I'm not into vibes and all that stuff, but people that you know need to choose joy and light and love. Whoever, however, I'll be glad to be here and to share more and more and more and more stuff that God places through this journey of my life, and one way or another we will impact each other. So thank you very much for being here. Until next time, see you later.